G'day, you must make it to at least one Monaco F1 GP in your life. There is absolutely nothing like it. The spectacle, the glamour and the harbour.
But the racing is dull.
I'll get to that later on, along with all the behind-the-scenes action from Lando Norris's magnificent win here in Monaco. Let's talk about the spectacle. These pics do a better job of showcasing just how amazing this place is. 736 berths in that harbour. They're booked out 8+ months out, and to get to their boats, a lot of these people have to take tenders. The traffic on the water is absolutely phenomenal. They even have water traffic police on jet skis to make sure everyone gets where they're going. Although the F1 drivers do get priority treatment on the water, and as many boats as there are in the harbour, there are plenty more moored off the coast. To be perfectly blunt, there is a concentration of wealth in this place that is quite beyond belief. A few $1 billion worth of watercraft, and it draws an interesting and eclectic crowd. Now, you might not be a fan of that sort of stuff, but if you'd seen what I've seen over the past few days, I don't think you could be anything but amazed. The whole of this is built around a car race. A race won today by McLaren driver Lando Norris. But really, he didn't win it today, he won it yesterday in quali, because he set the fastest time. And pretty much on this track, as everybody knows, you set the fastest time in quali, and certainly over the past 20 races, 70% of those winners have been the pole sitter. Thanks to Shell Motorsport for sponsoring this video. This year marks 75 years since Shell and Scuderia Ferrari HP first raced together, and it all started right here in Monaco. From race fuel and lubricants to some of the sport's biggest moments, Shell has been at the heart of Ferrari's performance story for decades. For this year's Monaco Grand Prix, the team's running a special 75 years livery featuring Shell's heritage logo, a tribute to the partnership's legacy and future. And in honour of the milestone, Shell Motorsport and I have teamed up to create a special series called Racing Through Time, visually bringing Shell and Ferrari's history in Monaco to life. Go check it out on my Instagram. Oh, and make sure to follow @Shell Motorsport on Instagram, X and Facebook to see their partnership with Scuderia Ferrari HP unfold this season and beyond. For yesterday's qualifying, I went out to swimming pool, and I can tell you, those cars come at you at high speed. They're on the edge, and it is absolutely terrifying. British comedian Michael McIntyre was on a photo safari near me, and he too was terrified. There are very few tracks where we as photographers get so close to the action as we do right here in Monaco. Sometimes our lenses are only 60 centimetres away from a car's wheel, and you as spectators often get pretty close to the action as well, certainly a lot closer than, say, Silverstone, where normally you're a mile away from the action. And of course, for us, photographing so close, it is a dangerous activity, but this cameraman at swimming pool truly deserves a medal. He stands here all day swinging that camera at lightning speed to capture the vision for you to watch on television. And let's go post-race. Lando jumps onto the car after winning, heads up onto the podium. I'm sure there are a few tears here where the national anthem was played. And the other thing is too, when McLaren and Lando win, you only get one national anthem. Unlike when Max wins, where you get the Dutch and the Austrian, or Oscar, when you get the British and the Australian. Lando and McLaren, both British. Then Lando goes off and does all his media commitments. So I hung around the McLaren garage where I found his manager, his trainer, his mum and dad and his girlfriend Maggie in the garage waiting for his return. They went back to the paddock in the end, and on the way Adam had a chat briefly with Isaac Hadjar, who had a super day finishing in 6th. Esteban Ocon was also pretty happy. Yesterday, having qualified 8th, I caught him here with his girlfriend Flavie Bala, and it's great to see that positive emotion in the paddock because, as you know, car racing can be quite hard work. On the subject of drivers' partners, Carlos was with Rebecca this weekend, and this morning, quite odd, he rode very slowly at her walking pace down the paddock. Carmen came in separately from George on a tender late in the morning. Nico Hulkenberg's wife Egle was there with Noemi. Beautiful jeans here with the number 27 embroidered on her pocket. This is Isabella, who is Gabriel Bortoletto's girlfriend, looking very stylish and now getting asked for lots of selfies, I noticed. They've been going out since they were 16. Pierre's girlfriend Kika in a marvellous jacket today. They are staying on board the Explorer 2, where I'm recording this video, which is the big cruise ship you might have seen in the background. Fernando Alonso and Melissa laughing this morning as they arrived. Alexandra was at the track this weekend with Charles, and Kimi and Alyssa also seen about the paddock. And the interesting thing for us is that often all of the celebrities and the girlfriends will stand above the garages on these balconies, which makes it very easy to photograph them. Back to the racing side of things, this can be a procession, this race, and that's primarily because of the fact it's very hard to overtake. Cars back in the old days when this track was designed were smaller, much smaller. Cars have got bigger, but the tracks remained unchanged. And that's why if you ever get a choice of tickets, pick the Saturday qualifying day. It's a ripper day. And when it comes to ticket prices here, the cheapest ticket you can get is about €120 for a Sunday race day, and it's up here on the hill. And this is Billy Hill.
Well, the first time I went on a hill was in 1999, and it's the best place to watch it. It's the cheapest place to watch it, and you get some of the better views, and there's a bit of shade.
And when did the megaphone appear?
About 2002. It was just a random thing because I couldn't talk to the drivers, so I thought, megaphone will get the driver's attention. So I got the driver's attention.
We see some interesting things in the paddock, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone dressed up in their graduation gown and hat. Is it a hat? What is it called? Whatever that thing is. But this is a Griffin. He couldn't make it to his graduation in the US, so he brought his stuff over here. Lewis Hamilton is back wearing fashionable kit. Not for Thursday or Friday, but on Saturday he came in dressed in this beautiful outfit. And I mentioned in a reel that I recorded that I thought a deal had been done in the team that he was now able to wear his fashionable gear, and I thought Sunday would be the litmus test. And yes, on Sunday he came in without the Ferrari team shirt. So my prediction is for the rest of the season, well, maybe not every day, but certainly most days, I think we're going to see Lewis dressed fashionably and effectively walking the catwalk, which hopefully means he'll be more accessible photo-wise. In short, there's not much to report on because most of the drivers drove scooters, a couple of them, as you've already seen, rode push bikes. A number of others came via tender across the water. But there was one person who did come on four wheels. It wasn't a driver, and that car actually parked inside the paddock. So there was no navigating through the swipe gates, and that person was FAI head Mohammed Ben Sulayem. But that's not odd because in the days of Jean Todt, he too would do that. I know a lot of you like to know what they're charging for merchandise at races. Here's a look at some hats, and if you look at the team hats, they run anywhere from 65 to say 75 euros. A McLaren Polo, 120, 165 for a Ferrari Polo, 105 for a Red Bull, and 90 for Aston Martin. How does that stack up with prices that you've paid in the past? And I can tell you that the media centre here in Monaco used to provide the worst food of all the tracks, reliably every year. But this year, they've sent us upstairs to a restaurant which has a full-on buffet. Thank you very much, Monaco. Did you see who waved the flag today? It was Patrick Dempsey. Now, Patrick is a mad motorhead. He also was wearing a very nice and brand new Tag Heuer watch. But this is something you probably don't know. About 10 laps before the end of the race, Patrick was doing some practice flag waving out near where we queued up for Parc Ferme. And at one point he taunted us, showing us the checkered flag. Other celebrities? Yes, Naomi Campbell, the model, was here yesterday and today, but yesterday I caught her in an embrace with ex-Flame Flavio Briatore. Then she teamed up with will.i.am for a photo here and ended up, I believe, at a Tag Heuer party last night. European football fans might know this man, Alessandro Del Piero. Zinedine Zidane was also with us, and an absolute favourite of mine, Sofia Vergara. I loved her in Modern Family and had a very brief 4-second chat with her today. It was my highlight, I think. What possesses someone to put a US $4 million McLaren on the front of a boat?
The main thing for me is to create something that stands out and that is recognized worldwide.
Of course, a lot of these boats have parties on every night over the Grand Prix, but if your boat doesn't have a party, there are plenty along here, which is actually part of the track during the day, but at night it opens up and turns into a monster nightclub. There are plenty along here from this section starting at the Exeter swimming pool down to La Rascasse. One unique thing about Monaco is this pathway, which is right in front of pit lane, is general access before the race weekend. So you can come here, see all of these garages being set up without paying a cent. This is one of the best grandstands to watch Formula One at Monaco at. And this is the view from the back row. And there are just 150 seats. On the subject of photography gear, I use Canon, the very latest stuff, but I want to show you this. This is Josh Paul. He shoots with a very old camera. It's not digital, as you can see. He gets one frame. It's a big thing like this. the piece of film, and he slots it in the back and looks down through a mirror and takes the pic. I can't wait to see what it looks like. I imagine it's not as sharp as, say, the picture that my friend Ivan, standing behind him, would have shot using a Canon 100 to 300 lens. But I can tell you, it creates quite a bit of chat when people see what he's using. Now, just before I go, I want to show you something. Ray-Ban Sunnies, you might have seen Charles wear these this weekend. It's got a Ferrari logo on the side, and you can win one of 2 pairs if you're following me on Instagram. Look for the post later this week. Well, my 4 days of the Monaco Grand Prix come to an end now, but I do urge you, if you haven't already seen a race, to make it a point to come and have a look. And if your budget will stretch to it, stay on the harbour. A couple of you are probably going to hit the subscribe button now, so thank you for that, and at very least, please like it. And here's where you need to look for a whole lot of extra content and stuff. With that said, thanks for watching, and stay passionate. I just mentioned Will on my video.
Really?
Yeah, this is Will's manager here.